welcome everyone to the MidChallenge boost of the LAM Summer Reading. I'm super excited for you guys to meet these incredible authors and illustrator tonight. In just a moment, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. And first of all, just wanted to remind everyone that summer reading is still going strong. We've got a ton still to come. At the end, I'll give a little reminder of the events that we have coming up. But for right now, I just want to dive in and let you guys get to know these lovely ladies. So I didn't discuss order of things, but I'll just kind of do it the order that y'all came in. So Stacie and Sadie, we're going to get started with y'all, and then we'll go to Alina and then Candice, and Faith just came, yay. All right, so what I would love for you guys to do is in under like 3 minutes, I want you to just introduce yourselves to everyone. Give us a reminder of who you are, what your books are about, and what you're currently working on, or if you have something that's about to come out or that just came out, talk to us about that.
Sure. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Stacie Eirich, and this is my daughter, Sadie.
Hi there.
And I write primarily poetry. I also have a fantasy series called The Dream Chronicles, which is middle grade readers. And yeah, I've got short stories out there, a lot of short works, publications in literary journals, magazines, and reviews. What I'm working on now is a poetry manuscript, but I also have a few other kind of novels in progress that have sort of been sitting there for a few years. And the reason that is because Sadie was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2022 when she was 14 years old. And so we are very blessed that she's...
Will be 2 years at the next appointment.
2 years
Cancer
off treatment.
Yep.
Cancer-free. Yes, and she is a St. Jude patient.
Yep.
And so I have to tell you about our book. And this is what I've been writing ever since.
Memoir on my treatment.
Yes, ever since she was diagnosed. And so it's called Hope Like Sunlight. And it was published in December 2024 by Bella Steary Publishing.
Wasn't it on Christmas?
Was it?
Yeah,
Christmas
I think it was
Day.
Christmas Day.
Yes,
yeah.
Christmas Day publication. And so I'm very, very proud because Sadie is the illustrator, and it's a hybrid.
An illustration.
Sure, yeah, sure. Yeah. It's a hybrid novel, so it includes my poetry that I wrote while she was in treatment, and then my letters to family and friends, and also my blog posts. So those were prose. And
I think it's in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it tells you which page it is. Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
Yeah.
And so this book really is my heart and is our journey to her cure. It wouldn't exist without the wonderful staff at St. Jude and the place that saved her life. And it's our second home now, really. We go back every 3 months for her follow-ups. And are just incredibly blessed to have her be
93.
NED, okay. No evidence of disease.
Yep.
Happy
as can be. This is one of the first paintings I did in treatment. He's Octavius the Great, and he helps patients find their insane awesomeness because I got a letter from a middle schooler saying I had insane awesomeness.
And we should mention all the proceeds from Hope Like Sunlight go back to St. Jude and to Ronald McDonald House, which is where we lived for about half of the treatment.
Beginning.
In Memphis. So you can find it on Amazon and also barnesandnoble.com.
That is so exciting. And of course, you knew that you had to share the picture of the cat because you know how much I love cats, right?
Yes. Oh, of course. He's still up in the hall in St. Jude, and I've got another one of a jellyfish.
That's so awesome. And so just so everybody knows, so tomorrow in our group, in our Facebook group, I will be posting for our Friendly Friday. I'll have links for each of these authors so that you can get to their books and everything. And it really was incredible. You know, obviously I've heard about St. Jude for so long, but to watch y'all and to see just how truly incredible that place is.
It really is.
And it's so open, and there's murals everywhere, and the kids' joy is really the focus.
It really is.
So you want to make sure you're comfortable, you know what's going on.
In their treatment, but also finding small joys It really.
Oh yeah, the little things always got me. Like the little medicine cups. I was like, it's so cute.
So yeah, you'd be amazed how much of the book really, especially the poems, because those were my private time, really. Those were me finding a way to still write, a way for healing, really my psychotherapy during our 9-month journey through her treatment.
Yeah, because I slept a lot, so she would always go off to write outside or like in a little alcove.
Or beside you as you slept in the inpatient bed. Yes.
Yeah, and they were like, just let her.
So yeah, I never expected to be able to keep writing through it. So that
because it was so like such a hard hit when the first she has this new thing.
Well, when we first learned, and we were in a different hospital for
it wasn't much
for the first months. This joy. I stopped writing. It just, and when we got to St. Jude, was the beginning of hope.
Oh yeah,
and also the beginning of finding ourselves again.
I started to come back. My brain started working again after brain surgeries.
So now she's in high school.
I finished my 9th year. I'm going into 10th.
That's awesome.
We haven't gotten our schedules yet.
And we miss Louisiana. We miss you
too. I miss the crawfish boils and all the seafood.
And
Mardi Gras. We missed Mardi Gras this year. We were so sad.
So for the rest of you, we lived there really close to Joy. Across from Lake Pontchartrain, in Louisiana. But now, now we live in Texas, in the Houston area.
Yes, and Louisiana misses you, and you should come back for Mardi Gras.
Yes, we'll be there.
All right, so Alina, you are next.
Okay, so I write historical fiction. I'm working, I think it's my 6th novel now. My last book was this one, A Surgeon and a Spy, which is book 3 in my series. So now a lot of people are asking me all the time, when is book 4 coming? I'm working on it very hard. It's due to my development editor at the end of this month, and I'm trying to write like a chapter a day right now. So
that's ambitious.
Yeah, it's supposedly the 2nd draft, but I can't even look at the 1st draft. I've dictated most of it, and the dictation just didn't work. It's a mess. So I'm basically starting new, and as I write, I get new ideas, but I have to finish by the 28th, and it seems to be the pace is like now a chapter a day, which is a lot for me. I normally don't write that many words a day. And I also recently published a different book. It's called Crafting Stories from the Past. I was one of 10 writers who worked on this. So this is a book specifically done for historical fiction authors, somebody who's want to write their first book or their 10th book, but specifically we try to find examples in historical fiction, like how you write a strong character. What if you have a horse in a story? What happens? How do you write, if it's taking place in a different country, and, how would people speak, how to make it authentic. So, it was very interesting to work together with different authors and learn from their perspective and put it all together. So that's what's going on with me recently in the summer. So I'm now a full-time author, and I self-publish, and I try to help other authors publish, when they have questions, if they're new to this, they need help with formatting or with understanding KDP or Ingram Spark. So that's what I do with a small business, helping them through all the various steps of publishing.
That's so awesome and so needed. And I'm very excited about that book. So, yay. All right, Candice, your turn.
All right. I had to mute myself because we haven't.
Oh, hold on. You're paused.
My kitten, and he had the zoomies in this rewrite from picture books to YA. I have these 3 picture books, and then my YA is this. It's a Southern Mystery with Gothic elements. And the latest thing I have published is a short story in an anthology called S'more Spooky Stories. the really cool thing about this anthology is that each story is set in a national park, and then all the proceeds go to the national parks. So that was a lot of fun. I picked Big Cypress National Preserve because I definitely have to have a swampy location. So that was one of the swampiest you can get. But also we're excited because for the kids' summer vacation, we're going out west. And so we're going to try to hit every national park between here and Wyoming and back again. So we'll see how we do.
That is awesome. Now, do y'all camp as you go, or how do you do that?
It's going to be a mixture. So we do have the tent, but I do want regular hot water for showers. So we have, like, my sister lives in Houston. We'll stay with her. My aunt has a place in Nashville, so we'll stay there. So I know at least 2 locations I'll have running hot water.
That's so great. Oh, and what a wonderful adventure for your kids. That's amazing. All right, so I have a few questions, and then we're going to get to some other questions as well. So the first one is, because this is our mid-challenge boost. So this is, the replay will be up in a little while, and this might be, people are like, okay, it's the middle of the summer, where is it gone? Also, I'm tired. And maybe they've kind of gotten to a stopping point with their reading for the summer reading challenge. So you guys are going to encourage us along the way. So the first question that I have for each of you, and we'll go back in the same order, is boast about a book that you just simply couldn't stop reading. I love how they're getting their books to show.
So I picked a graphic novel kind of for the youngers. And so it's a girl in a talent show, and she's like, I don't know what I want to do in this talent show. I won't spoil it, but she discovers a spot for herself that she's better in rather than being one of the talents.
Say the name and the.
It's called Click, and it's very colorful.
It is colorful.
I know my daughter read it.
Kayla Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked it because it's my favorite color with the green.
All right, so I'll start one book, and I don't have it anymore because I got it at the library, and I had to take it back, that I just finished, and it's so fun. It really, I picked it up as a fluff read, summer fluff, and total fun. It's called The Spellshop. Why can't I think of the author name?
Is it Sarah Durst?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Sarah Durst, right. Mm-hmm. And she's coming out with one called The Enchanted Greenhouse soon. That's a follow-up, or in the same world.
Last time we went into Barnes & Noble, she had a whole table in
Yes, there was a whole table of
with,
the
with her
Spellshop,
books,
right.
yeah, with the purple.
And they're it's beautiful cover, and it's really fun.
Yeah,
there's
the pages are sprayed as well.
Yes, sprayed purple pages. There's a sentient spider. There's a unicorn.
Isn't it a
there's
spider plant, not spider?
Oh, you're right. Sentient
It was the plant.
spider plant.
That's why I was confused. I was like, what?
It's a plant, talking plant. Yeah, and it's just crazy, but it's so fun. There's cloud bears, and
I want one of those.
Tons of magic, and also love and found family, and it really has a great message about friendship and kindness. So that's why it just hit me right in the feels. But here's the one I also want to talk about that's on the summer challenge list, and it is called The Book of Alchemy, and it's by Suleika Yahoud. And you might know her from Between Two Kingdoms. She's married to John Baptiste, the New Orleans musician, and she also is a leukemia survivor. But this book is billed as a creative practice for an inspired life. So it's actually an anthology of essays, and each one gives you inspiration for your next creative thing, to really kind of use it as a start your day with this inspiration to go be creative, or have a cup of coffee and a moment to relax with it. Just reading little bits at a time. I haven't sat down to read it cover to cover, but I love the cover too. How colorful is that?
That is super colorful. So would you say that would go for, because I'm looking at my categories, and that could go for a couple.
Rainbow or
Yeah.
there's one about
Special interest.
being creative.
Yeah, creative
Yeah.
pursuit. Yeah.
Creative pursuit is what I would say.
Yeah. Awesome.
She's also a painter, so yeah, she's super creative, and her
Oh yeah,
husband
I have
is
been my whole life.
amazing. What's the name of the documentary? American Symphony is on Netflix, and that's her journey through leukemia treatment alongside her husband, John Baptiste, writing his first and performing his first symphony.
Wasn't he the one that did where the power went out and he went to
Yes,
be on
the
the
power
piano?
went out,
Yeah,
and he kept going
I
on.
liked
It was
his suit in
great.
that video.
Wow.
It was a pretty teal color. I was a big fan.
He is a nice looking man.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And then his fingers go over the ivory.
And he's amazing.
So, y'all, so I was looking up the Spellshop. So I want to show you, if you can see the cover of it. The cover of this book is so inviting.
It's
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's like, oh, look, like I want to go there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Just let me go.
You are so right. That is, I want to dive right into the cover. So, Alina, what about you? Do you have some recommendations for us? A book that you just want to boast about? Or you can go ahead to our categories as well.
So I recently been on vacation to Canada, and I took with me this book, Let's Call Her Barbie, by Renée Rosen. I got this book right from the author. She came to our library in Niles, Illinois, and she's a New York Times bestselling author. She signed it for me, so I was pretty excited to read it, and I found it fascinating. So I learned from her that she wanted to write this book before the Barbie movie came out, and she was working very hard to sell her agent and her publicist, everybody on this book. I was very surprised that if you're a New York Times bestselling author, you still have to sell to your agent and your publicist, that they don't just take every your every idea or everything you want to write. Oh shit. They were like, no, we don't want to write this book. Like, no, I don't think it's gonna work. And I think the Barbie movie was a good boost for her, but she was terrified because she thought that the movie is gonna show everything that she's been working on, because she had no idea what they're gonna show. And then she watched the movie. She was very relieved that they did not reveal very much about how Barbie came about. You know, the story behind Ruth Handler, just hinted at it. So this was perfect. I learned all about Ruth Handler and her ideas. It really, I thought, was a great book about a woman running a company at the time where most, it was not accepted. Everybody was challenging her all the time, and she had some limit. Like, she couldn't draw, she couldn't do things, but she had this vision. No, this is what a doll should look like. This brand new doll. And when everybody kept going like, this is not gonna sell. No girl is gonna like this. No mom is gonna buy this stuff for her daughter. And she proved everybody wrong, and made Barbie the superstar that she is now. So I thought that was a fascinating and fun book with interesting people. It's mostly kind of exactly what happened with a little fiction. There are some characters who are fictional, and in the end, the author tells you who was real and who was not. Yeah. So highly recommended, and it also goes for different categories. It's a title in 2 colors, and the author is from my state. So yeah, here we go. I think you'll enjoy it.
That's awesome. That does fit a couple of our categories. That's perfect. And how cool is that? Both, so you have the woman who had to prove everyone wrong, and then you have the author who really kind of had to fight to get her book out into the world. So that's super cool on 2 fronts. All right, Candice, give us your recommendations. I know you've got some good ones.
Yes, so I have thoroughly enjoyed everything I've read so far this summer for the book club. But I picked Ryan LaSala's Dead of Summer just because I love reading summer books in the summertime. This one is YA horror, but he does horror so that even if it does get, like, it doesn't usually tend to get too gory cover, but it's colonized like coral is. But there's so much like found family love. Like, he's part of a best friend group called the Suds, and you just want to be part of that. Like, their camaraderie and their banter is just like friends, bestie goals. The pacing was great. It's also interesting the way he framed the story, because you have a narrator, but then you also have reports, like scientific reports of somebody observing the not really the victims, but the people who are contaminated. And so it's different timelines. So you have something that's happening now, then you also have what already happened. And so once you know what already happened, and then you're back in like present point of view, you're like, oh my gosh, like it just increased the tension. And he did such a great job with that. But he also does such an amazing job with the emotions in all of his books. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And this one comes out September 25. So I think they should have upped it to a summer release, but they picked September instead. Oh, and this goes for my same one as Alina, with the two colors in the title.
Because that could be a difficult category, I feel like, to get. So something that's really cool that I've heard in several of y'all's, either your books or books that you're mentioning, is authors are getting very creative, and we're getting books in different ways, and we have new things to see in the way that stories are written and told and put together. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And also, I really adore that at least two of y'all mentioned found family. Like, that is probably one of my favorite themes. It tends to slip into pretty much everything I write. So I love that. Oh, all right. So now it's time for some reader questions. So I know Faith actually went ahead and put a question in the post, so we're going to start with that one, and then we'll see if she has any other questions for you guys. But how old were you when you knew you were meant to write or draw?
You want to go?
Sure. Well, I started when I was quite young, because, you know, like elementary school, like crafts and everything, and I was just
still
like,
quite young.
I know. I mean, younger than I am now. I'm 17. It happened in April earlier this year. But like paper crafts and that kind of stuff, Mom still has some. She's got a bucket.
All moms
basket.
do. All moms do.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
a good mom.
But yeah, I started like drawing in treatment, and it calmed me down. It made me feel better, just because everything was so stressful around me with all the medicines and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just gonna create a little guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna name him something random.
You have so many little guys in your journal.
Yeah, I've got a little candy corn. His name is Bartholomew Dave Lester Atticus, the 763rd. And I take pride in him very largely. I also have Benedict Artemis Leonardo Giuseppe, the 2897th. I love them very much. I have never forgotten their names.
So she can create the characters.
Yeah. They were worried about my memory once, and I rattled those two off. They said, she's fine.
But yeah, she was always a little artist, and her brother does a lot of art too. So yeah, you've talked about maybe doing art therapy.
Oh yeah, something with younger kids. I worked really well with them. They were always like, I want to talk to her, not you.
Yeah, I think always both my kids super creative. And when did I know that I wanted to write? Well, what I remember is around age 14, or a young teenager, was really when I started, back in the days where I just had, pencil, pen, and a paper journal, and taking it out into the fields, or
like to a park or something.
To a park, or I was out at camp or something, and I would write, and it would usually be verses. It would come out messy, but in poetic form.
Yeah.
And
treatment, she always went to go write her crappy paragraph, and then she would turn it into a poem.
That's what I call it. I call it just get down one crappy paragraph. And then if I'm going to make that into something bigger later, whether it's prose or a poem, then so be it. Mm-hmm. But I think I really knew then when I was a young teenager that I want to keep doing this. And then I did very well in English classes and ended up getting my degrees in English. So I knew that I wanted to write. Now I have also taught English. I have also worked in a library, well, a few libraries. So I've done other things. I've also worked in music, so that I haven't always just been a writer. I'm sure that's true for all of us, but I think in my heart, that's what I've always
Yeah,
wanted to
sometimes in
do.
treatment I'd be sleeping and she would come back up and I'd wake up and then she'd be like, "Great paragraph!" And I'd be like, "Yay!"
Yeah, it was a way to hold on to identity.
She would get stressed out and she'd be like, "I gotta go outside and write."
Yes.
And I'd be like, "Okay."
It was stress release. It was therapy, like I
Of
said
course,
before.
because I was going through therapy appointments. She needed some too.
That's
I stressed her out.
Not you. Not you.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Everything that was going on, you get it.
That's awesome. All right, so Alina.
So I learned that I want to be a writer at the age of 41. It's pretty unusual. My degrees are in IT and business. I liked writing and history in high school, but it was so formal. I was like, honor CP student, and it was like always reading big novels and analyzing them. I did not do anything just creatively. And then I started working, and then writing became writing technical documents and emails and reports. And I thought that writing is probably the most boring and not interesting, most manual task that I can have in my job. I wanted to program a little more, to, do some more. I kind of like working with people, I think. So nothing was like that until pandemic happened 2021, and I started watching more historical fiction movies, and just because I had more time, didn't have to commute. And I don't know, stories just started coming to my head, and I was just kind of thinking about them for my own enjoyment, just in my head. Didn't even occur to me to write anything down until I almost heard it kind of like a voice. You have to write this. And I remember I was like shaking, like something's talking to something. I heard something. And I went to my computer and I started typing about my character, how she's a doctor, she's on the ship. And an hour later, I remember I was crying. Like, I truly felt like something is coming from the universe, that I'm meant to be a writer, that I'm going to write lots of books, that something is happening. It's like suddenly it was kind of this clear as this vision that this is what my life is meant to be. So, and I've been writing ever since. And I published, I specifically, I wrote down the date when that happened, and I published my first book exactly a year later. Like, I had a choice of dates, like when it could come out, and I'm like, this date, exactly a year. And the rest is history and keeps going.
That's amazing. And I love the magic of it. And I truly do believe that all creativity, there's some magic to it. But writing is just so special. That's awesome. Right. So Candice, tell us about you and when you knew.
Yeah, I've been wanting to write pretty much as soon as I learned how to read. I wanted to write my own stories. So I'd make up little stories for my sister and illustrate them and everything. I've since learned that illustrating is not my talent, but so I can focus more on writing. But I didn't really get serious about it until closer to in high school. My best friends and I had a journal we shared back and forth, and we'd write our very, very angsty poetry to each other about everybody that wronged us and all the boys, and oh, it's horrible. Like, I cringe when I find it. But at the time, it was very therapeutic. But I didn't realize that writing could be something I would do besides just as an aside until I was older. And so when I had my daughter, that's when I was like, I have this gift of time. I mean, I have a newborn, so what is time? But I was home more. And so I was like, if I'm going to actually be a writer, this is when it's time for me to put my butt in the chair and then actually write. And so I wrote Be Pearl and Sassafras in that time.
I know, and my daughter just got that book, Be Pearl, for one of her friends for her birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you get it from the Haunted Bookshop?
Yes, along with Joyce's book. Yes.
I saw the last name and I was like, this has to be Joy. Like a different first name. Must have been your daughter's first name.
Yep. That was her.
Okay. Well, awesome. Yay.
All right. So, Faith, do you have any other questions for our authors tonight?
So, since you're all busy writing, how much time do you have yourself, like, to read for pleasure? And Joy, you can answer this too.
Okay, I'll answer that one. I find I've had more time really this summer than I thought I would have. Yeah, I've been kind of zooming through. Like I said, I'm doing fun reads, right?
Yeah, she reads really fast,
and I
as
do
well.
read fast. But I find that I read first thing, like in the morning with my cup of coffee. Usually, that's going to be a poetry pick. Mary Oliver is my absolute favorite, and I love to revisit her verses in the morning. Usually before I might write a little. But then also in the evenings, I've been reading full chapters.
Yeah, that's when I read as
Yeah,
well.
she does
I've been
too.
reading like YA chapter books, novels in the
Mhm.
teen section of the new library we've been going to in the Lone Star College.
But I'd say I've already raced through. I'm on Goodreads, and so I keep track of my reading of my books. And I think I made my goal 25 books this year, and I'm already through at least 10. So yeah, and yeah, we're halfway through, nearly here. So. But yeah, I've had more time than I expected. I'll say that.
I try to dedicate an hour a day to reading. It's kind of a habit for me. Sometimes I read 2 books at a time, like I would read fiction and nonfiction often enough together. But yeah, I try to I actually try not to watch television, not to get into shows that are too addicting, especially during summer, so I can get my reading done. Right now I'm reading Wolf Hall, and it's kind of hard. I kind of feel a little lost in it, but I almost never give up on the book, so I feel like I need to finish it.
I get a lot of reading done at nighttime. Usually when the family's watching TV. I usually don't get into TV except for a couple of my favorite shows, so I'm usually reading.
Yeah, so Faith knows that I haven't gotten to read as much this summer as I typically do. So usually I have like cycles, and I'll really get a lot read during the summer typically with my challenge. And then when I do my winter challenge, I typically get a lot read during that time, like the beginning of January over the Christmas break, and then the first couple weeks in January. Those tend to be really good times for me as well. But life has just been a little bit different this year. So I haven't gotten a ton of reading done, unfortunately.
Joy, I totally get that. When life is different and things hit, or, life just, you have seasons.
I'd also say the weather outside, because it's colder, you just feel like cuddling up with a good book.
Sure, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Right now it's hot as
It's hot as heck here in Texas.
Then
So,
maybe you want air conditioning and a book too.
yeah, air conditioning.
Oh, and I did want to say, like Candice said, it's about turning off the TV and not getting into so many shows, and then you get so many more books. I really don't have any TV shows. Now and then you choose a movie
That you like binge. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched The Sound of Music the other night, and
In the movie room.
In the
My
movie-
dad set it up. So.
that was totally worth not reading for a night.
Oh, yeah. Just a one-time thing.
I hope not. Let's
Yeah.
watch it again.
Oh my gosh. We've seen it a million times.
Great. Well, so we've got just over 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do just a couple little things to wrap up. And then I'll come back to each of you, and maybe you can share one thing that you would love for people to do, whether it's buy a particular book or subscribe to your newsletter or, something like that. And of course, I'll include that tomorrow in our post, our Friendly Friday post as well. That'll be in the Facebook group. So just a reminder that we have several really fun events still coming up. So next Thursday night at 7 again, that will be our reader chat, or our author chat, author chat with Julie Mayerson Brown. And she has been on here before. She's a delight, so much fun to chat with. And so that will be next Thursday night. The Thursday after, which will be the 24th, yes, July 24th, that will be Carol Lair Johnson. And she writes historical fiction as well, like Alina. And so that will be her chat will be that night, also at 7. And then the final thing will be our wind down and winner's toast. And that is on Sunday, July 27th at 7 p.m. We're going to announce the grand prize winners. And that night we will actually have 2 book swag prize pack winners, because tonight Faith has already won one this summer, and she will be receiving it this weekend. Faith, just letting you know, it's coming to you, I promise. So that will be another exciting thing for that final event, is we're going to give away 2 of them. So if only 2 people come, guess what? They're getting them. So, and if not, then I'll save them for when I have another event later in the year. But that's always something fun. So I think that's everything. And then very quickly, let's go around and just what would you like people to do or follow you on?
I'd love for everyone to go and check out our book on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com, Hope Like Sunlight. This book, all the proceeds, like I said, go to St. Jude and Ronald McDonald House. And this book is just our heart. And there's color illustrations. So yes, it does cost a little bit more because of that. But
we didn't want it in black and white.
No, we couldn't.
I have to do
we
the color
had
for
to
you.
have the color, but it all goes back to support the children and families that are suffering from pediatric cancer.
And it's always more than you think. It's sad.
But we found, like I said, small joys, and we are
Lots
absolutely,
of course.
yes, blessed to have Sadie today, and for us to be creating and writing,
And just continuing to do that. You find peace in it.
continuing life.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Alina.
I would love for you guys for everybody to check out my books, especially my recommendation, Abigail's Song. It recently won the Goethe Award for historical fiction. So, if you're looking for a nice story, a love story of a musician, Abigail's Song is my recommendation. I actually had one book recommendation just for everybody, but especially for Stacie and Sadie. You guys reminded me of a book, How Does It Feel, by Sophie Kinsella, if you heard of it. Sophie Kinsella, she writes The Shopaholic.
Hopefully Candice will be able to hop back in, especially since we didn't get to hear from her. But Alina, tell us a little bit again, what was the name of that book that you were recommending for Stacie and Sadie?
Sure, it's called How Does It Feel? And it's by Sophie Kinsella. Sophie Kinsella is a popular author, wrote I don't know how many books. Many of them are called The Shopaholic, and it's a whole series about this young woman who can't stop shopping. That's her most famous, but actually my favorite book by her is The Undomestic Goddess, which is about a lawyer who realized she really is not enjoying being a lawyer and would rather be a cleaning lady, or anything else but not law. Yeah, so I thought that she's very funny. Unfortunately, she had brain cancer. She's doing much better, and she survived the surgery, the treatments, and then she wrote this book, How Does It Feel? So using her humor, using the experience, she said she fictionalized it because she was afraid to get some details wrong because the surgery did affect her memory. So she didn't want people to come back like, oh, you didn't actually see this doctor. Oh, this happened in May or not April. So she said, so she created a character, but very much the character followed her journey.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And so I don't know that Candice is going to be able to pop back in. So I'm going to tell y'all, if you have little ones, her picture books are so precious. They make great gifts. She's got the one about Mardi Gras. It's all specifically about Mardi Gras and how it started in Mobile. That's where she is. And it's an alphabet book. So it follows the alphabet. So if you've got a kid who would love that, and then it also has these really great paragraphs about each of the things. So you can read it very quickly for the little ones, but there's so much more depth there that's really cool. Sassafras and her teeny tiny tail is absolutely adorable. It's about a squirrel with a teeny tiny tail. And then Chompsy, Chomp's books, and that's her dyslexic book. So it is, she always uses the dyslexia font, which is incredible and helps so much. So if you know anybody who struggles with dyslexia, this font really does make a big difference. And anyway, the books are adorable. And of course, Bee Pearl, the existence of Bee Pearl. So it is, it keeps you turning the pages. It's exciting for all ages. It is YA, but I loved it. It's set in the swamp, and you've got the swamp monkeys, and there's a lot of, uncertainty about what's happening, and the person is missing, and is he really missing, and what's happening. And anyway, it's just a really great book. So also her, I know she has a newsletter. So like I said, tomorrow in our Friendly Friday post, I will be sure to include links for everybody, and you guys will be able to follow them there and on Facebook or social or Instagram or something else like that. So, all right. Thank you, ladies, for coming back, and thank you all for watching to the end, the second end. And we will see you back in the Facebook group for summer reading. Thank you, guys.